Hey, everybody, welcome back to the CannaTech podcast. We have a special guest today, Matthew Nordgren. How you doing?
Hey, feeling good. It's a really great beginning of the year, and it was nice to meet you at the San Francisco conference to end the year. It ended things right and started things right.
Sure did. And I really enjoyed the speech, the panel you were on. We'll get to that in a moment. But first, let's talk about you. Apparently we share Austin, Texas in common. Tell me about yourself.
Well, we do, Harry. My background's Texas. I'm a Texan. I'm from Texas, born and raised in Dallas. Went to school at the University of Texas in Austin. I was on the football team there and went to the business school. And Austin's just a lovely place. We are so excited. We have some people that work for the firm that are there as well. And most importantly, what's on my spirit right now is how excited we are to come down for South by Southwest next month.
Oh,
And be a part of talking about plant medicine in front of a community that I know so well.
Oh, good. I'll be there. I'll keep an eye out for you because, sir, you're a tall, athletic individual. You're easy to spot in a crowd.
Well,
So
those linemen are so big. You had to kind of be a little bit tall just to have a chance to see over them.
there we go. Arcadian Capital, nice portfolio that you've invested in. But what's Arcadian Capital?
Arcadian Capital is an asset manager that runs a variety of funds. We really focus on the supply chain, the CannATech space, as you call it. I saw your beautiful graphics you did, and we're involved in probably 50 companies. And so I was looking at that graph, and a bunch of our founders are on there, and it was really nice to see. Great job on that, by the way. And
Thank you.
we focus on kind of mid-stage equity. We don't do public investments, although a lot of our companies do go public. We focus on sort of B round, maybe A or C, but we really want to be involved in the build of a business as it's sort of moving along. Perhaps it comes from my background as a backup quarterback, because you can only do so much from the sideline when you have a great team out there, but we don't really, help. We're not the best at when they get the ball on their side of the field on the 20-yard line.
Yeah.
We're sort of like, okay, you got it on the 50-yard line. Now, how do we take it the rest of the way into the end zone, I think is where we are. And we've been able to do that to a very successful degree.
Yeah. So you're not doing startups in early stage. This is what I took away from that. You're more at midpoint.
I think if you go back, 5, 6, 7 years, we were, but at this point in time, as we kind of get to this midterm election period where there's a lot of excitement on some things that could happen from an inflection point standpoint institutionally, we believe you got to really sort of be humming along with your business. There's a good chance that some things happen that really open things up, and that means that a business should be already at some point in their growth cycle. That doesn't mean you can't start a business today, but I think if you do, you probably want to be on the consumer side in terms of the B2B businesses, in terms of sort of the fundamental aspects of the space. There are a lot of people working in various verticals and categories at a high level. And so just as a philosophy, we're trying to lean into some of the more proven companies and help them get across the finish line and do some of the M&A. There's going to be a lot of consolidation.
It sure is. Finally, and forgive me, it was about 2 months ago that I saw you present on a panel at the NCIA Cannabis Business Summit in San Fran. Great conference. What was your panel about, if you don't mind reminding me?
Well, our panel, it was about investing and sort of the landscape and environment that comes with that, and sort of some thoughts about where we've been, where we were today, and where we're going. And the thesis, I think, amongst all of us was that there are a handful of inflection points we're looking at potentially happening as we get into midterms and between midterms and the next election, and what that means for the entire industry. But I got to tell you, whenever I get up there, overall, it's going to be a lot of magic and spirit and positivity because it's a grind. It's a grind. And people just need to know that there's no better place than where you are. The past is just data that lives in our brains, and the future's faith or fear. So you might as well have a little faith in it and just be where you are. And sometimes we need that reminder. And I think I did probably too much of that in that particular speech, but it was
You're great.
holidays.
Now you got everybody energized. Well, as an outcome of that 2-day CannaVest track, investor track, I went and signed up for Robinhood, and I took some sofa change. Now, not too much, not too much money, but sofa change, and bought into a couple of the indexes starting at the end of the year and through January. I've been accumulating based on what I learned there. And I'm an index guy because I don't want to work at Walmart as a greeter at the age of 80.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's very interesting. And, if it wasn't your panel, it was another one that said, the cannabis stocks took a beating last year, of course, but it could be a good time to buy long term. And that's my thinking is, maybe every paycheck throw $100 in, and in 60 months, I might have a pot of gold.
Well, yeah, I think you're probably right. I think it was our panel. I talked a lot about that too. Now, we're not a public market expert. We don't do public deals. We're not licensed to give that advice. But personally, that has been my go-to as well. And I actually I waited till January, and I'm still buying. But I think if you look at a lot of these companies, they're trading at book value or balance sheet cash on basically what their valuation is. It just can't be the case. And so this is an industry that if you believe it's going to continue to move forward, those multiples are severe haircuts to what their value is. And there'll be some M&A, right? A lot of these companies will merge together, and your stock will ultimately be some of it in one company. But that means that the industry is doing what it's supposed to do, which is consolidate to prove winners. And so I think you're doing the right thing. ETFs, indexes is probably the way to go, or maybe even just the top 5 or 10 MSOs to have some exposure to, because they probably, in my opinion, never are cheaper in terms of relative value based on the cash generation that they have going and the valuation associated with that.
All right, my friend. Well, thank you very much. I'm going to look for you at the major conferences, including South by Southwest in a month here in Austin.
Yeah, please do. And, strength in numbers. This community is beautiful. And folks like yourself, members of the press that decide to allow for an avenue for these founders and influencers in this space to speak are really just doing great work, impacting, we believe, the world. I mean, plant medicine is something that, and plant products, plant consumer products is something that is going to continue to thrive. And ultimately, the result is a better planet.
Well, I'll end on that. Your good attitude, because I got involved with Microsoft as a vendor 32 years ago, late 90s, and we literally thought we were going to improve the world. I mean, we were just so walking around all pumped up, and I think we did. I think Microsoft had a role in that.
Well, yeah, and still does in a crazy, crazy way. I think what we're doing is a little bit of a reverse engineer on that, which is to say that the internet has always existed. It's just underneath the ground in the form of the mycelium network, where all plant life speaks to each other and communicates and delivers oxygen and water and nutrients. And every living organism has already had a means with which they communicate, and so we want to bring that back to life. We want to have the internet is great, the Microsofts and all the tech businesses that we see enable the efficient world we live in. But ultimately, I think we're designed for less information. We want to have people understand that being present, going deeper with fewer things is how we're designed. And so I'm not saying that what you did is a bad thing. It's an amazing thing, but no, everything in moderation, everything in moderation. And so to have peace and happiness and quality, it involves operating as organisms are designed, homeostasis. And when homeostasis is achieved, you can thrive and ultimately evolve. And an overload of information isn't a bad thing, but if you can't go deep and have understanding the way the brain functions, it doesn't necessarily advance quality. And so I think we're really fighting for quality over quantity.
Yeah. All right, my friend. Thank you very much. Best of luck to you.
Thank you. God bless you.